At 4:30 a.m., a complex drone operation began. The first of 196 drones began its launch sequence. Drones launched at a rate of 1 every 20 seconds. 340 additional drones launched from other locations. 536 drones, the largest coordinated swarm attack. The operation's success was immediately challenged. Russian radar detected the mass aerial launch signature. A high-priority counterstrike protocol was triggered. Russian forces launched 4 9K-720 Iskander-M missiles, Mach 5.9 each, armed with a 700 kilograms warhead. Missiles targeted the suspected launch site coordinates. 11 minutes from launch to impact a narrow window. Mere seconds to deploy drones before obliteration. A key element dividing the swarm into 4 forces. Decentralization ensured operation continuation, guaranteeing a portion of the swarm would proceed. By 6:00 a.m., results of the strategy emerged. The Northern Force crossed into Russian airspace. 95 surviving drones launched from the tsunami sector. The flight plan was the most challenging. Circumventing the S-400 Triumph air defense bubble, drones descended to a low operational altitude, initiating terrain masking flight protocols. Success hinged on onboard capabilities. The Northern Force crossed into Russian airspace near Suja. Their flight plan was the most challenging of the operation. They had to circumvent Russia's formidable air defenses. Drones descended to 500 meters, masking their approach. Success hinged on their AI navigation systems. Passive sensors detected the 92 N6E gravestone radar. This radar can track targets out to 400 kilometers. The A-196's design proved critical to its survival. Its carbon fiber build minimized its radar cross-section. The radar cross-section was similar to that of a large bird. Russian air defense struggled to lock onto the low-flying targets. The S-400 fired missiles at Phantom radar returns. The Northern Force cleared the S-400's engagement zone. 12 drones were lost to navigational errors and collisions. Low-cost drones neutralized a sophisticated air defense system. Does this represent a shift in aerial warfare? Share your analysis with us. The Southern Force encountered Russian electronic warfare units. They entered a 200 kilometers corridor of jamming signals. The jamming created a GPS-denied environment. Conventional drones would have lost their bearings and crashed. Skyode systems transitioned to alternate navigation mode. The AI switched to visual navigation using optical sensors. It identified the distinctive curves of the M4 highway. The drones used the highway and railways as waypoints. 85 drones followed the lead elements. Conventional drones would have failed in the jamming zone. Skyode systems switched to visual navigation seamlessly. The AI correlated camera feeds with stored satellite imagery. The system identified the M4 highway as a waypoint. 85 drones followed the lead elements in a loose formation. Processors performed thousands of calculations per second. The Southern Force emerged losing only 8 drones. A significant leap in autonomous navigation was demonstrated. The Eastern Force faced a conventional kinetic threat. 4 Su-35 fighters were scrambled to intercept the drones. Each fighter carried up to 12 R-771 air-to-air missiles. The flight split into 2 pairs to patrol different sectors. Pilots encountered the same problem as the S-400 crews. Radars struggled to acquire the small, slow-moving drones. The lead pilot descended to improve sensor resolution. Descent placed the aircraft within MANPAD's engagement range. The pilot achieved a weapons-grade lock and fired a missile. The pilot confirmed a single kill of a drone. Su-35 interception was minimal, highlighting inefficiency. Advanced fighters are inefficient against low-altitude swarms. The swarm converged on the KMDA antenna assembly plant. The facility was protected by 6 Pantsir S-1 systems. The battle for the facility began at 8:31 a.m. The Pantsir systems unleashed a barrage of autocannon fire. Their tactic was to create interlocking fields of fire. The swarm disperses a low-altitude threat. What is their target? The Ukrainian swarm converges on its target, a military facility. The KMDA antenna assembly plant, heavily defended. Can they break through? 6 Pantsir S-1 systems stand ready, a deadly point defense network. Interlocking fields of fire, a dense wall of tracer rounds shredding drones. Initial waves suffer significant losses, but the swarm learns. The swarm's intelligence network analyzes the defensive fire in real time. The third wave adapts, a loose amorphous cloud, varying speeds and altitudes. This tactic confounds the Pantsir's fire control radars. The defense struggles. Cannon fire concentrates. Other drones accelerate, pushing forward. A relentless advance. A hidden 7th Pantsir system. A salvo of surface-to-air missiles. Ukrainian planners anticipated this. Countermeasures are deployed. Synchronized evasive maneuvers, overwhelming the missile's radar seekers. The missiles fail to lock, designed for predictable flight paths, not this. 38 missiles fired, 31 confirmed kills, an 82% success rate. But is it enough? Devastating against conventional air attacks, insufficient to stop the swarm. 195 drones survived the missile engagement, inside the minimum effective range. Defenders forced to rely solely on autocannons, a critical limitation. Each system can only track and engage one target at a time, a fatal flaw. 6 systems firing, only 6 drones engaged simultaneously. The swarm presses on. 189 drones flying unopposed towards their targets. The final phase begins. The attack demonstrates the core principle of intelligent swarm warfare. Distributed intelligence assigns specific targets to coordinated groups. The KMDA antenna assembly plant is under heavy attack. Defenders relied on 30mm autocannons as missiles failed. A critical limitation: only 1 target per fire control. 6 systems firing, only 6 drones engaged at once. 189 drones flew unopposed, a swarm overwhelming defense. 8:33 a.m. Intelligent swarm warfare in final phase. Distributed intelligence assigned specific targets. Small groups of 8 to 10 drones for coordinated strikes. Calculated surgical dismantlement, not random attack. 15 drones converged on Building 2 antenna assembly, approaching from multiple angles to ensure destruction. 12 drones allocated to support facilities in Building 3. 20 drones targeted the main production hall directly. Skynode systems navigating, attacking, and communicating. Penetrating drones transmitted flight paths, enemy data. Live tactical map of Pantsir positions, speeds, blind spots. Late drones navigated gaps in collapsing defense. Curved routes through zones, avoiding Pantsir fire. Final 62nd point defense network completely failed. Crews overwhelmed by chaotic multi-vector assault. Ammunition limitation was the final nail in the coffin. A 38 cannons, 42 seconds of continuous fire. Systems ran dry, crews scrambled to reload in vain. Remaining drones pressed their attack with precision. Operations severely degraded the KMDA facility. Strategic threat: autonomous drone swarms overwhelm defenses. Blueprint for future conflicts: AI swarm tactics, expendable assets.